Hello and welcome to the section on Bluetooth. We're going to go ahead and walk you through how to create a Bluetooth app in Android. Now let me go ahead and give a little bit of background about Bluetooth, what it is, how you can use it. Bluetooth allows you to make a quick connection between two devices that it's typically thought to be a short range communication. So sometimes Bluetooth communication can only go a couple of feet and sometimes it can go hundreds of feet. It really depends on what type of devices you're using and what version of Bluetooth it is that you're working with. But we'll typically see Bluetooth used for things like audio, for example. So if you've been in a car that has Bluetooth technology in it, you can stream Bluetooth music via Bluetooth from your phone to the car's audio system, and then it will play there. We see that with Bluetooth headphones, and that definitely seems to be the way that things are moving forward more and more as phone companies seem to be getting rid of that headphone jack because they just say, you know what, maybe the whole thing should be wireless. We don't have room for a headphone jack. And that's kind of the trend that we see there. And also we see it in health products. So whether it's Android Wear, the Apple Watch, Pebble, I'm trying to think of some of the other fitness smartwatches out there, but things that can track your heart rate, GPS, whatever it is, those are commonly communicated back to your phone through Bluetooth. My favorite one in my house is I have a Bluetooth scale, so I can weigh myself and automatically the scale will talk with my phone and upload how much I've weighed at what points in times, and I can log in my phone and say, oh, look, I can see over the past year how my weight has gone up and down. So kind of cool thing there. But if you'd like to know more about Bluetooth, just a wealth of knowledge, this is the Bluetooth.com website. So they have a thing here about developing with Bluetooth. Honestly, this is the nitty gritty, which I really don't recommend. I think there's a lot better way to work with Bluetooth devices, and they have so many specific instances, but companies like Android, Apple with their iOS platform have made it easier for us to work with Bluetooth, so we need to go ahead and take advantage of that. So with that large introduction, let's go ahead and finally start a new Android Studio project. And I'm going to call this Bluetooth Finder. Okay, and I would like to note at the beginning of this is that you're going to need a device, a physical Android device, if you want to test Bluetooth functionality. So for me personally, I have a little Android device here that runs on API 22. So I'm going to bop this down to 22, and I'll go ahead and hit next so we can move forward with that. All right, so go ahead and start your new project. Okay, we'll give this a second to load up here. And if you don't know how to load an app onto your Android device, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through that. I found this really awesome screen sharing app that is just absolutely phenomenal. So simple to get up and running, so I'm excited to share that with you. So the basic idea with this app is that we want it to go and try and find Bluetooth devices near us. We're going to go ahead and show them inside of a list view. And with that list view, we're going to have a button below where you can hit that button to search again, and then it will start looking again and sort of update that list view. So let's go ahead and work on the visual side of things first. We'll go ahead and open up Design, give ourselves some space to work with. So let's go ahead and delete that text view. I'm actually going to start with what we have at the bottom and then add the list view to the top. So we want to have a bottom at the very bottom. A button at the very bottom, excuse me. And so we'll go ahead and anchor that to the bottom. Let's go ahead and center this. And we want this to be a button so that if someone wants to, go search for some Bluetooth devices. So we're going to change the text of this to say search. All right. Now with this, we want to have a text view right above that that says the current state of what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and add a text view, and it doesn't need to be too big. This is going to be kind of just a small indicator for the user about what's going on. So I'm going to connect that below, and again, right click, make sure that this gets centered correctly. Then with these two things in place, now I'm going to go to the list view, drag that out, and have this take up the whole space. So I'm going to go ahead and just add the constraints all around there. Now let's make sure everything has a proper ID. I'm going to just call this list view. And I'm going to go ahead and call this view text view status text view, and we'll go ahead and change this button to be the search button. Okay. So we've got all of those things in place. And the starting text for this, we actually just want it to be blank. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just highlight that text and delete it. We're going to fill that up with information later. Okay. So let's move now to our main activity. And I should have done an on-click method for this button. So let me go ahead and do that. And for this on-click, I'll go ahead and just call this search clicked. All right. So we'll start there first. I'm going to say public void search clicked, and we'll pass in a view there. Make sure you hit enter to import. So this is where we want to launch off the Bluetooth searching. And like I said, we can't really test this on a Bluetooth device, so I'm not going to load that emulator quite yet. But let's go ahead and talk about what it is that we need to do next. So when someone wants to go search, we need to alert the user that we are doing the search, and we probably want to disable that button. So let's go ahead and make sure we can get access to everything that we need here. We're going to get access to the list view, which we'll just call list view. We're going to get access to the text view, which we are going to call status text view. And we also need access, oh, forgot to do the autocomplete there. And the last thing that we need is the button. So we're going to make a button called search button. All right, so with those things in place, we want to go ahead and set those up in the onCreate. So we'll start first with list view. You are equal to find view by ID r.id.list view. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this twice down below. So this will be for the status, got to spell it correctly, status text view. And we'll change this to status text view. And then we want this one to be the search button. And we'll have the ID changed to search button. All right, so all those things are in place. And again, the first thing that we want to do is when that search button is clicked on, we want to show that we are going out and searching. So the first thing that we should do is we should take our text view, which is the status text view, and we should say .set text and set it equal to something like searching ... so the user knows that something's going on. And we also want to disable that button. So we're going to go ahead and say search button .set enabled, and we want to set that equal to false so that the user can't hit the button again and start this whole launch process again. We want to restrict that from the user for a second. So with that in place, let's go ahead and load this on my Android device. So there's a multi-step process here, and to show you that process, I'm going to go ahead and load this new app that I have called Visor that allows me to show you my device, what's going on the screen there. And so I have my device plugged in with USB, and it's ready to rock and roll here. Let's go ahead and go to the home page, and I'm now going to hit view so that you can see this. So if you'd like to check this out, Visor, pretty neat little app so that you can see what's going on my screen. So with that there, if you're going to be using Visor, or if you're just going to be using, want to test something on your Android device, the first thing that you have to do is you have to enable your app to work with, you have to put it in developer mode. So what you need to do is go ahead and open your settings app, and luckily I have mine here, recently used. And so we want to go to all the way to the bottom, down to About Phone. And if you scroll down to the bottom where it says build number, if you actually go ahead and tap on that 7 times, it's going to pop up a thing that's saying, hey, do you want to enable developer version and all this stuff? Because I've already done that, you'll see I get the toast message that says, no need, you are already a developer. So with that in place, oops, I'm getting layout stuff here. Man, that's so cool how quick it can respond to all that. But if I want to go ahead and test my app, I'm going to hit run here. And then rather than choosing one of the virtual devices, I'm going to choose the connected device. So technically, we could have tried out this code with a emulator here because we're not doing any Bluetooth stuff yet. But I thought, let's go ahead and just get in the flow of working with a physical Android device. So it's going to take a second here for this to pop up. See, we got the Gradle build coming. I'll go ahead and take this moment to talk to you about what it is that we need to do after this, and that's that we're going to introduce something called a Bluetooth adapter. And this is going to power everything that we do in Bluetooth. So what we want to add to the top here is something called a Bluetooth adapter. And I'm just going to go ahead and call this lowercase Bluetooth. Well, let me spell it correctly. A Bluetooth adapter like that. So we'll go ahead and talk about how we can get that set up and whatnot in the next lecture. But for now, looks like our app is finally opening up here. So let me go ahead and open up Visor so you can see this. And here's the phone. App pops up, and if I hit this search button, look at that, it disables the button and it says searching. All right, so we're on the right path in order to go now connect with the Bluetooth world, but we still got more to do. Let's cover that in the next lecture.